what's in my camera bag for 2024? Let's find out. Alright, so let's start off with the bag itself. This is just a newer camera bag. It's probably somewhere around 25 liters, but it is my actually very first actual camera bag. For that, I just had a little one camera and maybe one or two lens pouch, and this has been a great upgrade. And it's only around $35, which is a really good price for a bag that is much bigger and it can hold quite a bit of gear, as you'll see later in the video. And I will have the links to everything I talk about in this video in the description below. And those links are affiliate, so if you do buy something from them, that will just help the channel out. But that's the bag itself. It is very nice, and it doesn't open from the back like maybe some other a bit more expensive bags do, and it has a pouch from the front, and it just has one main compartment inside, and then it also has a whole bunch of different pockets inside the case right here, and that just really helps to hold a bunch of the different little things that you may have, like a camera strap, batteries, or just little wires or anything smaller like that. So let's go ahead and move on to the actual stuff inside of the bag. So basically, I'll just be going from the main compartment area and then the little things that I have in here. So let's go ahead and start off with pretty much the most important thing, your camera. So the camera that I'm using is the Sony ZV-E10, and that was a Canon. I'm actually filming on the Sony ZV-E10 right now, so that's why I don't have it in my bag. And this is basically just one of Sony's compact APS-C cameras. And the reason I mentioned APS-C is because there's two different type of sensors that your camera might have. An APS-C, which is smaller, and a full frame, which is bigger. And then there's also a medium format and stuff like that, but that's a whole different thing. And this is just one of Sony's less expensive APS-C cameras, but it works really well. And I'm filming on it right now, and the video looks great. You can shoot 4K video in 30 frames per second and 1080p video in 120 frames per second, which is pretty fast. But one downside to the camera is the battery life isn't very good, because this camera has Sony's older and smaller NP-FW50 batteries, which don't have a very great battery life. But if you have a newer camera like the Sony a6700 or most of Sony's full frame cameras, that will most likely have the Z100 battery in it, which is just bigger and it has a much longer battery life. It does also do photos, and I shoot most all of my photos on this camera. They turn out pretty good. It can shoot RAW, so I have been doing that for a little while, and it can shoot 11 FPS for burst. And another big great thing about this camera is that it is very compact. Moving on from the camera though, let's talk about the lenses. So the lenses that I use are three different lenses. The first one is the Sigma 30mm f1.4, and that is the lens that I'm shooting on right now. And this one is a 30mm prime lens, and it has that low f1.4 aperture to give you that nice blurry background and to let in a lot of light. So that is the lens that I'm actually filming on right now. So it's not in my camera bag, but I have a slot for it right here where it would usually go, or sometimes on the actual camera. So the second lens is another prime, and it is the Sony 11mm f1.8, and this is a super great wide angle lens, super wide angle, and it has a low f1.8 aperture, and this is a good lens. I've been using it for quite a bit, and it has been working great. I don't use it a whole bunch for photos just because of how wide it is, but I have used it for video and all sorts of things like that, and it works quite nice. So moving on to the last third lens that I have, this one I actually just recently got, and this is the Sony 18-105 f4. I'm super excited about being able to test this lens more. I haven't done a whole bunch with it yet, so I can't say a lot about it, but it has a super long 18-105 range. I haven't tested it a whole bunch yet, so you'll have to wait until I make a video about that lens. I will try to do that sometime soon. And something that all of these lenses have in common is that they are APS-C lenses.
Not cameras.
So that means you can only use them on APS-C cameras, where a full frame lens you can use on full frame cameras or APS-C cameras. But APS-C lenses are much cheaper. Same thing with the actual camera. But that's it for the camera and lenses. So let's go ahead and just move on to all of the other things that I sort of have in my bag. So right here in this slot, I have my chest GoPro mount right here for doing POV photography or anything POV related. And this is just an Amazon Basics one. It isn't an actual GoPro brand, so relatively cheap, but it's been working good, especially if you're getting those different shots for POV. And then for another one of those is sometimes I'll use a hat mount to get that up more eye level shot. But then for the actual POV recording, I'm using the DJI Action 3. This is a action camera from DJI, which is a really good brand. It has a magnetic mount right here, and it even comes with its own little cage. So this is the camera that I'm using. It can shoot 4K video, mostly minimal distortion, and then filter. So I only have one filter for the Sigma 30mm, and this is actually a 2-in-1 filter right here. It is by Newer, and it is a CPL and ND filter. So I'll get it out here. As you can see here, it is an ND filter, a variable ND filter. I believe it's a 2 to 5 stop, but that is a super great thing for if I need a low shutter speed or anything like that for shooting photos. So that's it for filters, because I don't have any filters for the other lenses yet, because they're a different filter size. But then moving on to more audio gear right here, I have some batteries for the DJI Action 3, so I've got 2 extra batteries right here. And then I also have a DJI wireless microphone 1. This is the, like I said, version 1, the one I have. I've done a review of this with other microphones, so you can go check that out. But this is the mic that I bring with me anytime I'm going somewhere, especially if I know I'm doing video. Because for me, having a wireless mic, not just a shotgun mic in here, because most of the time I know I won't be right in front of the camera like this. And then for the DJI microphone, I just have the DJI cable right here to hook it up to the camera. So that is pretty much the entire main pocket of the camera. And as you can see, it can hold a lot of stuff for how cheap of a bag it is. But then moving up to this top pocket with all of the smaller things. So right here in this first zipper, I have 2 extra batteries for the Sony ZV-E10 because, like I said, the battery isn't very great on that camera. And then I also just have an extra SD card for while I'm shooting photos. If I need any extra memory or especially video, you can start to run out. Now for photos, I haven't covered an entire SD card before because I have a SanDisk 128 gigabyte SD card, which for me can cover a long time and a lot of photos. So I don't usually need a second SD card. You never know when you're gonna need an extra SD card, and when you have it when you need it, you'll be happy you have it. And then one other thing that I have in the top of the bag right is I have a Peak Design camera strap, and this is for whenever I'm shooting rollers or anything where I need to make sure the camera can't fall, because when you're hanging out of the window of a car, you definitely don't want to drop your camera, and just having this extra safety measure right here in your bag really helps, and then you just have it for when you need it. So that's pretty much it for my camera bag in 2024. So if you want to go see how I edited one of my best videos on YouTube so far, go ahead and check out this video up here. So I'll see you in the next one. How did this get in here?